Alrighty. So, um, it's been a bit since last recording. I think we did it like 2 weeks ago or something. I don't quite remember actually.
I'm pretty sure it was 2 weeks.
Okay, right. I haven't really done too much yet because I've gotten distracted with getting back to work on Colleen 3. So, because the whole ELS thingamajig. But I might be getting another team member on this actually if I put my guts to it. Uh, Darth Match might be joining us for working on trial and stuff. So
Oh, okay.
hopefully I can get that going. I did have some stuff to talk about though. I just right now my brain isn't uh working right. So hold on. Boy. Oh man. What did I even work on? Right, I fixed the context stuff to actually work so that you can have multiple contexts at the same time and stuff. I had some more bugs related to that I found while at ELS actually. So, but yeah, it should be working now. It's not as perfect as I'd like it to be because there's some really kludgy stuff going on with the reentrant whatever's. Anyway, context things should be solved for the time being. And I actually tried out the launcher thing that I made, so which creates a context of its own to determine the OpenGL.
Uh, you went quiet all of a sudden? Did something break? Time to poke.
Hold
Hold
on,
on. There you
fucking.
are.
I was interrupted because someone just decided to walk into my door for no reason. Oh
Oh,
god.
okay.
Did you say anything? Because I had my headphones off.
Oh, I was just asking where you vanished.
Again. Recording is ruined, but whatever. Right, so the launcher dialog thing, which should let you select stuff, it determines the anisotropic filtering and all that crap. And it needs a GL context for that, and now it creates a separate one from the main thing so it can be launched independently. And that seems to work for the most part. I haven't actually incorporated anisotropic filtering at all yet, because there's a fix me thing note about how to share configuration stuff, because I haven't figured that out yet, how to do that. Have you any ideas about how to, like, have some sort of a global, or at least, I'm not sure actually. How do I even formulate this? For textures and things, you need to have some way to specify the anisotropic filtering and like texture clamping and stuff like that on a game global basis, I guess. I just don't know where to put that kind of thing or how to access it.
Sorry, I wasn't able to follow because I was trying to load trial. It
Okay.
keeps failing.
Okay. Um, what is it failing at?
Uh, unknown type specifier CLQT function.
Uh, oh right, yeah, you might have to pull Q tools as well. I think I pushed a fix to that. It was a missing type thing. Right, so what I was talking about before is certain assets need to have access to I guess configuration properties or like global game properties, because things like anisotropic filtering are on a per texture basis rather than a set once forget kind of deal. So I'm not sure where to put this kind of information or how to access it from a asset out so that it could be globally shared. I suppose the only place to put it really is the context, but I don't know.
Well, that's where I would put it.
Right, yeah, but I'm not sure how extensible this would be and how to facilitate it. Really, I just can't really form an image in my brain of it. But then again, I've been really bad at thinking about stuff recently, so probably clear itself up at some point. What else was going on? I don't suppose you actually did anything, did you?
No, I was just been trying to test it, but actually I loaded Q2s and it still failed.
You pulled it from Git or what? You need to.
Oh, I didn't pull the Git version of
Right.
Q2s.
What else was there? Hold on, I'll look through the Git logs to see if there's anything around. Yeah, just mostly it's some fixing and context stuff. I'm not sure how to do the mouse grabbing thing because for some reason, for some games, obviously you want to have the mouse being grabbed so that it doesn't leave the window. But I'm not sure uh, when you can actually release it so it doesn't get stuck in the window.
Well, usually it only releases when you alt-tab out of it, when you unfocus the window.
Yeah, but does Windows do that automatically or?
I don't actually know.
I guess, yeah, I guess when you unfocus it, okay. But sometimes, this brings me to another thing, like, we need to have some kind of system to pause the game execution so that I can have like a pause menu and stuff. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
of
where
course.
to put that or how to really do it.
Yeah, because we not use a traditional game loop.
Right. I suppose you would just stop issuing tick events.
Yeah, they will just end up in queue. Oh, wait, tick events. Yeah, that's actually correct.
Yeah,
You
but
will put them on hold.
no, it doesn't. I'm not sure because even if you just stop issuing tick events, only some things don't get executed, but stuff like input events will still get processed. So
Can we stop the actually any events from being delivered for the time being or something?
hold on, I don't think I implemented any canceling or anything like that. Yeah, no, there's no canceling. I suppose though. I suppose we could just lay down a policy that says any kind of game state updates have to happen in a tick event or something, but I'm not sure if that's good.
Well, it would fix it. Another option would be that when the events are in the queue, like they would be redirected to some null queue.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's something to think about. Uh, yeah, another thing we still haven't fixed is the gamepad axis flipping thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy, so much stuff to fix.
Yeah, and I need to buy a new gamepad. This one is really broken.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's been like that for a few months now, and it's only getting worse.
You have a PlayStation 3, right?
Yeah.
So you can use the DualShock 3 controller actually.
Oh, yeah. I suppose I could do that.
I mean, Trial supports it, but I don't know about other games. I was
Mm.
I was trying out Don't Starve with controllers, and it was just horrendously badly supported. Like yeah, the NES controller I have, I couldn't even really set the bindings correctly in a way that it would work. So
Yeah.
I would expect that a lot of that we're actually doing it better in terms of gamepad support right now.
I remember back when I first got well, say, what was it, Mirror's Edge, and I only had this cheap old gamepad.
Mhm.
It was some Logitech thing
Right.
instead of the X360. So it had also the uh, axis reversal thing, so that I had to press down to move forwards. And
Oh boy, that's really
yeah,
bad. Yeah. Especially in Mirror's Edge. Holy shit.
yeah, and some buttons didn't work at all, and lovely things like that.
Yeah, I tried the SNES controller on Don't Starve, and it just like one button was constantly being pushed for some reason, and I couldn't really like rebind things at all. I don't know why. It was really weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, our system as it is now, I think it should be possible to use any gamepad at all, even the ones that we don't directly support, because it assigns just generic uh, names to it, and then you can like assign them yourself by making custom mappings.
Yeah, at least it's better than most games.
Yep. Oh boy. All right. What else? I guess. Did you have any thoughts in uh the actual game itself, game mechanics and design stuff?
Well, I was thinking about the how the world actually is made. Like, do we have a static world that is always the same, or do we generate something new every time? Or
How do you mean static and generated? Like, in what kind of sense?
well, static in the sense that it's like we design the world precisely in a certain way that, like, going to west always brings to the same field and all that.
Right. Like, I haven't really thought much about this. The only thing I know is that in the end, villagers and stuff should be completely generated. So it would make sense if the village layout was generated as well.
Yeah,
I
I was
just
thinking
don't.
that too.
I just don't know about the actual player field, so to speak, because I wouldn't mind if that was actually static.
Yeah, we could have like static rooms that are always the same and most likely in the same spots as well in the world map.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really do anything like a roguelike or something where the entire map is generated because we need to know, like, we need to have some kind of control to make the game not break completely.
Yeah, and there always has to be certain buildings and things like that
Yeah.
as well. So it's closer to, well, Dwarf Fortress than any roguelike.
Well, I don't know. Dwarf Fortress is like everything is generated again,
Yeah, but they always have the same buildings in there.
I guess.
And you just have to find the places and, okay, you know the layout very quickly again.
I mean, it's also from just the perspective if you think about how we should tackle the development of the game. The central game aspects, single player stuff that doesn't involve any sort of villagers or any kind of AI is probably what we're gonna have to get to first. So it would make sense if we just have a static area for players' house and fields and stuff, because then we can just work on that until we are sure it works and then expand from there outwards, sort of.
Yeah, of course.
Did you have any more thoughts in like world building? We did some of that last time around. Discussed some things about how to like this idea of having some kind of different phases throughout the day, where you have Misty, sort of, how should I put it? Where the mist moves in through in various parts of the day, and then you sort of change the mood of the game, and well, we could expand from that and sort of try to build a world around that kind of thing. I'm not sure. Oh God, I'm a mess right now.
Uh, well, those are all things that we have to test. We'll need to like have just one time of the day anyways at the beginning.
Well, sure, yeah, we need a day and night cycle to begin with. That's actually another thing. How long should the day be? It's actually kind of, I think that's pretty tricky to adjust, because if you make it too short, you can't do enough in a day, and if you make it too long, you have to skip too much. And I guess another thing to bring up is, like, usually, or not usually, but in a couple of games, when you sleep, you always wake up at a specified amount of time, so you can skip days ahead. But you could also say that you only sleep for as long as you need to, so if you aren't tired, you wake up way early, or something like that. I'm not sure. Just ideas in my head right now.
Well, I personally like being able to sleep, like wake up at a certain hour, which would mean if you go to sleep in the midday, you will wake up in the evening. It just works better because you have more controls and.
Wait, hold on. I'm not sure I understand now. So, you would say you always sleep a fixed amount of time?
Well, a maximum amount of time could be fixed, but depending on how tired you are, but you could wake up earlier, like that would be helpful.
So, wait, you're saying you can decide how long you want to sleep when you go to bed or something?
Well, alarm clocks.
Right, okay. I mean, it's more just in difference to other kinds of games where you, no matter when you go to bed, you always wake up the morning 6 o'clock next day.
Yeah, and I never actually understood why that's the thing.
Well, I can understand why, because it gives you the ability to skip ahead days if nothing is happening and you're waiting for a certain kind of event to trigger, I guess, or if you're waiting for a season to go by or for your plants to grow or whatever. And waking up at 6 o'clock is convenient because the game is scripted in a way where people only start waking up at like earliest 6:30 or something, so you have some time to get around and actually get your stuff done, and then not miss the entire day of whatever is happening in the village. But I'm not sure how well that fits into our currently sort of planned scenarios.
Mm.
I mean, I actually wouldn't be wouldn't be opposed at all to the idea of having certain villagers be more active throughout the night rather than the day. It would give you more things to do and would give you more incentive to actually stay awake.
Yeah, and if there are different kind of things happening at night, then well, it's very nice to sleep until the evening.
Right. So, yeah, I'm just trying to piece together some sort of a picture of what this world would look like. Um, Mostly because, yeah, it helps a lot to come up with what kind of, well, if you don't have a picture of what it looks like, it's hard to come up with any kind of decision on what would work with it.
Yeah.
So, could you sort of describe what you feel it would look like? So, if you try to imagine like uh sort of the player standing in the village, and then what do you think of? What kind of image do you get in your head when you imagine that scene? I guess.
A player standing in a field. Let's see.
Or in the village, I don't really...
No. Mostly just surrounded by life. Things moving around.
Well, but what does that life look like?
Now, there should be some wildlife, I think, and people move at their work and things like that.
Mm-hmm. From if you try to think of the color scheme, what kind of do you get? Mostly just really poppy, cartoony colors, or what kind of stuff do you see?
Well, I would see it being quite colorful, at least during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always mute those colors when things change to different kind of mood, you know?
Right. I'm not sure. For me, I'm kind of sort of. I mean, what's the word? I can't really decide myself between having something that is very much cartoony and something that is more realistic, especially in terms of color scheme. Um, mostly because I'm not sure. I think I discussed this last time. When you have something that is overly cartoony, it's kind of hard to evoke a certain kind of mood with it because it is too active and too much geared towards being given this kind of unnatural flair, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. Especially when I try to think about the nighttime shift, I imagine mostly something that is uh, very muted and very mellow in a sense. So lots of dark blue color tones and probably some kind of mist effect going on, which is very much a stark contrast to the active daytime. So from this going on out, we could build up some kind of duality in the world where you have a cheery kind of villager life, and during the night you get into this sort of dangerous. Uh, what's a good example for this? Standard kind of noir scenarios, I guess, is what I'm thinking of. Sort of this kind of really misty and dusty feel of danger lurking around the corner.
Yeah, but those require a city more than a tiny village, I think.
I'm not sure. Uh, well, I mean, if you take city as a prime thing of noir style, I guess it's more in line of crime novels in general. I guess I'm not sure, but crime novels can work very well in villages as well. Can actually be even spookier than in cityscapes.
Oh yeah, it's... I'm trying to remember something. Reminded me of this very old mod from like 10 years ago for Warcraft 3,
Mm-hmm.
where you had tiny village and you had a few murderers in there, like one or two, and you didn't know who they were. Pretty fun game.
I've never really played Warcraft 3, but I do remember what the visuals look like. I think pretty sure.
Well, it was a mod, like multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh, okay, multiplayer. All right. um. Yeah. So. Yeah. It's just not. I don't have a cohesive enough image in my head to really be able to tell what we can do with that kind of stuff. But hold on.
Pasted the link on Discord now. It was Pretty interesting for its time.
Those are some old-timey graphics indeed.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not sure. I for some reason I have an image in my head of a game, but I can't recall the name of it. God damn it. This is annoying. But yeah, casting all that aside, did you have any kind of other thoughts about different kinds of areas of the game that we could expand on? Could also be just stuff about game mechanics. We didn't really talk much about that last time.
I don't really know about game mechanics themselves. I've mostly been thinking about the world generation and how to actually make it happen in 3D. But since we technically have a 2D world,
Yeah.
so it shouldn't be too bad.
I mean, most generators just sort of piece together preset chunks. And then you kind of define how to connect the different chunks with each other and then use some sort of random walk kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think about what kinds of stuff you can actually grow in the field. Because we could make, like, if you could introduce different kinds of more advanced stuff like you have in Space Station 13, where you can actually extract things from plants and you can grow really weird stuff or manipulate the DNA of plants and everything. But if we do that, then it becomes really difficult to, how should I say, to streamline how the plants work.
Yeah. Well,
Well, what?
I don't exactly know how the plants will work. Like, you can do it like Shroom Factory, where it's you put a plant there, it either gives the plant or it gives, or was it? How did you get the different kinds of plants on it?
Well, for the most part, you just bought seeds for them, and then you just could grow different kinds of quality of seed from the plants if you treat them well. But you can't actually get new types of seeds. You can't actually combine plants in any way or anything like that.
Yeah, but there was some way for them to actually suddenly become very big or something different color, I think.
Yeah, I think that depends on what kind of soil you have. Whether you like put some weird growing medicine things onto it,
Ah, okay, yeah.
and sometimes rarely you can just by pure chance get a golden one. But it's very limited in the sense. I'd also like to. I don't really appreciate that you can't discover new types of plants on your own. So it would
Yeah.
be nice if there was a way to remedy that. I'm just not sure what would be the correct way. Things like modifying DNA don't seem very appropriate for a village type of game.
Well, how did they originally did those things again? Like, there was this, what was his name? The monk guy who mixed those different color peas together in the pots and
I'm not sure what
uh,
you're talking about.
in the history, I can't remember his name. The guy who pretty much invented genetics,
Okay.
like before the idea was even a thing. He did some experiments with just peas in a monastery and
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
yeah.
Right. It's just more like if you think about just sort of the idea of mixing seeds of plants together in some form, that quickly stops making any kind of sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you can say it's magic.
right, yeah, but that's a cheap kind of solution. Um, I was more thinking, uh, less the kind of advanced Space Station 13 system, but more the simple one where you can throw mutagen solution onto a field, and then the crop randomly mutates its DNA. So you don't have actual control over it, and you don't actually know that it has DNA that decides what kind of type of plant it is. But you can still sort of get new types of plants by just mutating it randomly and hoping you get what you want out of it.
Then we would have to invent some genetic system as well.
Yeah, that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it could be fun.
I mean, for the most part, the DNA would only be deciding how well it grows, how much produce it gives, how long it takes to grow, and then the type of plant as an ID thing.
Yeah, and something visual would be nice as well, like changing its color. That doesn't really do much else.
Hmm,
Or maybe it could hint at what the plant is like.
right. I guess we could have an additional identifier for some kind of modifier. Things to think about. I'm not actually sure how can you how can you do things like changing the color of a texture in OpenGL? You have to redraw it or something?
I know there's some way.
Let me just Google.
I mean, you could just draw over it with different transparency, but
Yeah. Well, what am I seeing here?
maybe you just copy the texture and edit it.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Uh, it could work.
Well, it might be a good idea. I don't know. But it's certainly something to consider once we actually have a working field going on. I still haven't ported the LD3 35 thing to the new trial engine updates. I should do that at some point, so we can actually continue working on the actual game instead of constantly doing engine stuff.
Yeah, it would be. Oh, I had a conflict in 3D vectors apparently.
Really? Did you change anything about that?
I don't remember changing anything, so I'm going to take a look.
Okay. I mean, Maggot lets you revert changes easily enough. If there were any.
Okay, I seem to have edited the ASD file.
Interesting.
And documentation on ops and package for some reason.
Maybe you did some weird replacement. I don't know. Alright. Okay, so I think for just as a general kind of plan for the immediate future will be mostly porting the LD35 thing over so that we can have something to work with, and then get the field working. And yeah, I also still need to fix the model loading, but I'm not sure. I might ditch the wavefront format altogether because it's not very great. But yeah, model loading is actually still broken, so once I have that fixed, we can continue working on the actual game and hopefully get some font ready going. That would be sweet. What do you think about that?
Sorry, what? I was wondering about why it's erroring when opening shared object Qt core DLL.
Oh, is it? That's
Yeah.
bad. You shouldn't be doing that.
What did you say?
I was just saying for the immediate future, what we should focus on is, first of all, porting the little things we have from the Ludum Dare to the new engine changes.
Yeah.
And then I should fix the model loading because that's so broken at the moment. But once we have that, we can focus on actually doing some development on the game itself, so that we can plant stuff and harvest crops and that they grow up at least gradually. Once we have that, we have some kind of actual gameplay going on that we could expand upon. I think that would be really nice.
Do we want to focus on like just the farming part first?
I think so, since that seems rather self-contained in a way. Everything else would immediately need a lot of other things like new models and new textures and new engine parts and everything. So since we pretty much have everything we need for the plant part, we can work on that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright. Okay. I think that was a fair half an hour of discussion then. Unless you have something else to add.
Not really, I would just like to try to write down some notes on the world generation itself and the plant genetics thing.
Sure.
Just ideas at some point.
Put it into a text file or markdown file or something and push it into the repository. Alrighty then. Thanks for joining me and stuff. And probably gonna do this again sometime soon. Once we have some more ideas about things. Alright, see ya.
Bye.